Welcome to episode number 74. That's right, number 74. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the law of attraction, an experience that happened to me today, why the law of attraction is important, and how you can use that for your benefit. Stay tuned. So the big question is, how do ambitious people like us, who grew up listening to the old advice of go to school, work hard for 40 years, and retire when you're old, create a life today that is meaningful, abundant, healthy, and brings joy, while also leading a life that is productive and full of achievement? That is the question, and this is the podcast that'll help give you the answers that you're searching for. My name is Del Denny, and welcome to the Upgrade Your Life podcast. What is going on, people? Del Denny here, and welcome again to the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Today, I want to talk about the law of attraction. And I don't know how you feel about the law of attraction, but I love the law of attraction. And it's a really interesting concept. And the reason why I bring that up, I had just an amazing conversation just a little bit ago with someone that was just touching base with me. And it was someone that I met at a conference earlier this year. And it was the first time that we got on the phone together and we were just kind of touching base with each other. And what ended up being maybe a couple minute phone call ended up being a phone call that was over an hour and a half long. And we realized what a great partnership that we might be able to create together. And so I'm really excited for that. But the reason why I bring that up is because there was this idea of the law of attraction. Now, when we were at this conference, there was 2,000 people in this conference, and I didn't realize this, but I guess this guy saw me a couple different times, and he thought, I should talk to that guy. And, I saw him once, but I think he saw me a little bit more. And I was standing in line next to him, and I noticed that he looked Polynesian. Now, something that you may not know is I love the Polynesian people. At one point in my life, I lived in Los Angeles, and I was amongst the Tongan community. I love Tongan people. I love the culture and the food and the family, and there's so much to them that I love. And a lot of people don't know about the Tongan people. And so anyways, I'm standing in this line, and I see this guy, and I think he might be Tongan. And so I started chatting with him, and not knowing that he already wanted to have a conversation with me. And I started chatting with him, and I asked him, are you from the islands? And he's like, yeah, I'm from Tonga. And then I spoke a little Tongan to him. That's right, I can speak just a little bit of Tongan. And so out of all these 2,000 people, there's probably very few people that actually spoke Tongan. And there I was speaking Tongan to him. And as I was talking to him today on the phone, he said, I saw you a few times throughout the conference, and something deep down inside me said that I needed to talk to you. And I was like, I don't know if I should do that or not. But then I was next to you in line. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the opportunity. And then you started talking. And the next thing you know, you started speaking my own language. You started speaking Tongan. And he goes, I just knew something was different. Something was special. And I think that's very cool. In life, there is this thing called the law of attraction. And, I firmly believe that when you set your intentions out in the world, that you want to achieve something, the universe conspires to make it happen for you. There's a great quote that I love. It's by Buddha. There's different philosophers. There's Buddha, there's Christianity. There's so many different theologies that are out there. And there's this idea of the law of attraction. And I love what Buddha says. He says that what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. And those are some very interesting thought processes. What you think, you become. Now, let's just think about that real quickly. What you think, you become. Now, what can you think? One of two things, positively or negatively. If you think positive, it says what you think, you become. So if you think positive things, what happens? Well, you become positive. If you think negative, what happens? negative things happen. And so you have to be very careful about those things. And then the next thing that Buddha says is what you feel, you attract. If you feel that negative things are happening, guess what? You're going to attract negative things. But if you feel in your deep down soul that good things are coming, guess what's going to happen? Good things are going to come. Now, here's a really interesting thing. What you imagine, you create. What you imagine, you create. It all starts with imagination. It all starts with this dream in your mind. And so the problem with human nature is we tend to think small. We tend to think small. We tend to not want to grow and become bigger versions of ourselves because we're afraid of what other people might think or what they might say, or we feel like we're belittling someone, that we may make them feel insignificant, but that's not the case. We have to think big. What we imagine, we create. You think about a hotel. You think about the building that you're in, the car that you're in. Before it was created, it started with an imagination and this idea in their head. And so we create everything twice. First in our mind, the next is in reality. So thinking about the law of attraction here, I would say three things. Monitor the way that you think, monitor the way that you feel, and monitor what you're imagining. Are you thinking big or are you thinking small? What you put out in the universe, that's what you're going to attract. So be careful on what you're putting out there. Make sure you're putting out those positive vibes, making sure that you're putting out that positive energy, and imagine yourself doing great and big things. And I promise you'll see a difference in your life. Thinking positive, attracting more, becoming better, that helps you on your path to reaching your full potential. So that's it, my friends. That's today's lesson, is the law of attraction. In your mind, think about what you want to become and what you want to be, and think positive, and positive things will happen. So this is Del Denny signing off. Remember, learn, lead, and live to your full potential. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes to get automatic episode updates for the Upgrade Your Life podcast. And finally, please take a minute to leave us an honest review and rating on iTunes. Your feedback really helps us out when it comes to the ranking of the show, and I make it a point to read every single one of the reviews that we get. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me on the Upgrade Your Life podcast. Have a great day.